Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Easton Cook, and airlines are starting to pump the brakes on hiring flight attendants. You see, pre-COVID, airlines would hire sporadically throughout the year. What we call windows would open, and it was at this time that you would submit your application and hope to begin the hiring process. These windows would open and a flood of applicants would come rushing in. Usually within a couple days or a week after the window opened, the window would close, and those who were too slow or didn't get the chance to apply would simply wait for the next window to open. And then, COVID hit. Airlines not only stopped hiring flight attendants, but they began to lay off, and in Delta's case, began to offer leaves. 2020 was a unique year, devastating in many ways. Airlines basically began to grind to a halt, and then 2021 came, and a switch was flipped, and the airline industry had to start up after being shut down for so long. The gears began turning, the cobwebs cleaned off, and the airline factory was up and running. But there was just one issue. They required workers. Pilots, and flight attendants. But for purposes of this video, we are going to be focusing on the flight attendants. So 2022 came, and it became the year of hiring flight attendants like crazy. Airlines began the process of interviewing and hiring new flight attendants. Now understand, when I say hiring, I don't mean that you went to the interview and they're like, all right, you're hired, get on the plane. It doesn't work like that. It's a much longer process. There are phases in the interview. They sometimes get be 2, 3, 4, 5 phases of the interview, and then, only then, once you get the job, they send you off to training, and that could be again a month later or whatever, right? There's a time period to it, and that could be 4 to 7 weeks or even longer for training. And then once you're done with that, then you can get on the line. So as you can imagine, when I say hiring, I don't mean that all of a sudden they were just staffed. It didn't work like that. But in 2022, the window was open basically all year, and so applicants seized the opportunity. Then we enter 2023, just last year. It became the year of training. This is not to say that 2022, no one was training, all right? Yes, there was still training being done, but the bulk of it came in 2023 after all that hiring and interviewing happened in 2022. Airlines were training daily in 2023, and they were at capacity because flight attendants were desperately needed in the sky because it was like everyone returned to travel overnight. Airlines simply couldn't meet the route demand. Now I've given you the rundown of pre-COVID, COVID, and post-COVID. But now we've entered the year of 2024, so what now? Well, before I tell you, y'all make sure and subscribe, like the video, I do appreciate it. In 2024, we're seeing a bit of a slowdown with hiring. Most of the work has been done. The interviewing, the hiring, the training. To put it simply, the work that was needed is now much less. Airlines have trained and trained and trained flight attendants. Now don't get me wrong, airlines still need flight attendants, so they're still hiring. It is just now less. As a matter of fact, just this year, there have been airlines that opened the window to apply to be a flight attendant for less than 24 hours. That's wild, but that's the reality of where we are. So if you wanted to be a flight attendant, or you've put it off, or you thought, I'll get it next window, or it's not the right time for me, let me give you some advice. The flight attendant interview process for most, if not all airlines, can be very time consuming. And I'm talking months. Many different phases of the application and interview process. As a matter of fact, you can go to the website of the airline of your choice. Their normal website that you buy tickets on. Delta.com, United.com, Southwest.com, it goes on. And you can go all the way down their webpage and look for a variation of the careers tab, or it may just say careers. And you can typically see the application process laid out for you. It's usually pretty straightforward, or you can watch YouTube videos on it like you are right now. And if you miss the window to apply, then you just gotta wait for the next one. So here's my advice. Even if you're not ready to accept training, if you're not where you wanna be to be a flight attendant, if you're like, I would love the job, but I'm nervous, I just wanna be in a different spot in life. If you have all these different thoughts, whatever it is, my advice to you is strike while the iron's hot. And that translates to apply when the window opens. If you know that the window's open and you want that airline, get your application in there and start the process. Know that should you actually get through the entire thing, in-person interview, and they say, hey, we'd like to hire you, here are your training dates. Well, those training dates could be quite literally 5 months from the moment that you actually applied on the computer. Now, to be fair and to set you up for reality, there's another side of that coin. They could say, hey, we'd love to have you, training starts next week, and then boom, you gotta make that decision. But at least you've started. You put yourself in a place to make those decisions. And should you actually get the training dates and you decide, all right, I'm gonna do it, seniority is everything in an airline. So the sooner you start your training and the sooner you go through it and get out on the line meaning actually be on a plane and flying as a flight attendant, that means that the people after you now boost your seniority. So the earlier you begin training, the more seniority you have right off the bat. And the more seniority you have, the better the job is. That's just the truth. So my advice is to apply and get the ball rolling. Because what, worst case scenario, you don't get it. You get the thanks but no thanks email. You don't get your training dates. You don't even move on to the next phase of the interview process. And what? You gotta apply next time the window opens, okay? Best case scenario is, hey, you get the job, you get your training dates, and now you're put in the tough spot of having to decide if the timeline works out for you or not. But in order to even have these tough decisions to make, you've got to apply when the window's open. So my advice, get the ball rolling, apply. And that's it for this video, y'all. I hope it helps. Please give it a thumbs up, share it, comment below if you've had different experiences or you have other advice. I'd love to hear it. Make 2024 the year that you don't delay and you don't get inside your own head. If you have the opportunity, take it. You can follow me on the socials and also shop my Amazon storefront, all in the link in the description below. I'll talk to y'all next time. God be with you.